I mean, there's so much to talk to this man about, and what a time to do it, because here we are kicking off WrestleMania week. It's in the Northeast, Philadelphia, Saturday, Sunday, Peacock here in America at Lincoln Financial Field. In my opinion, no better way to kick it off than with this guest joining us in studio for the very first time, and having an opportunity to talk to him for the first time in a long time is the best in the world, CM Punk. Is he there? There he is. The man himself.
Where do I sit?
You sit right here. How are you, sir?
What's up, buddy?
It's great to see you.
How are you?
Thanks for coming.
No problem.
It is really good to see you.
It's good to see you. It's good to be like in person.
Yes.
And I get to see all this cool stuff.
A lot of cool stuff.
Yeah. It's like
I haven't seen you in person.
It's like a little museum.
Yes. My little shrine to all things combat, and a little bit of Bills and some other stuff as well. I think the last time I saw you in person, welcome, here we are.
I love it.
This is pretty fun.
Yeah,
Some people didn't think it would actually happen, by the way.
Why?
They thought I was doing like an there's my guy right there.
This is my guy.
Yeah. You and I both.
Go ahead. Just hold on to Brett.
Yeah. Comfort you throughout this. I think the last time I saw you in person was in that little room in Chicago, 2018, right before your last UFC fight. An 800-pound gorilla had just been lifted off your shoulders that week.
Oh, geez.
And we did a sit down.
Okay, all right. So you say that puts me in that place. Now I know.
That's the last time we saw each other in person. We have talked since then.
Yeah.
But this is tremendous. I really appreciate this.
No
you
problem.
look fantastic.
Thanks for having me. Do I though? I stressed about.
No,
do I wear a hat? Do I do my hair? What do I wear?
The hat makes like shadows on the eyes.
Well, my smarter than me wife. I said, "What do I do?" And she said, "Do your hair. Show your handsome face."
Yes.
So I always listen to the boss.
You always change the hair, by the way, because like when you came back in November, you had like a bit of a fade.
Yeah.
And then it grew back into this.
Very important to always change the look. Different stages of your career.
This is kind of a throwback.
Yeah, 100%. Of course. Yeah, because I'm back to I'm back home. I'm back where I belong.
Right.
Yeah.
Before we get into everything, and I can't wait to talk to you about all of this. Most importantly, how are you feeling? How is the tricep?
I feel really, really good. I think there's part of me that doesn't want everybody to know. I want to keep it a bit of a secret. But I feel way better than I think I should.
Okay.
It's given me sort of a false sense of security. And there's very much the hockey player in my head, just like, oh, you could have made Mania. You could have just taped it up and,
Really?
Yeah, they're protecting me against myself, though.
You think you actually could have been involved in a physical way?
Like I said, they're protecting me against myself, which
Are doctors
is a
backing this
welcome
up?
change.
Yes,
100%. Like I love it. I'm the one that's trying to push everything based on protocols for ruptured tricep tendon, but they're telling me to pump the brakes, and I'm just sitting back listening to them as best I can.
You have torn that tricep.
Yeah.
Is it the exact same injury?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Felt the same?
No. This one didn't feel like anything. It didn't hurt at all. It just felt like a rubber band snapped in my arm. This one, I very seldomly use the word agonizing. This was very, very painful.
Wow.
Yeah, it hurt like hell.
And it happened in the Royal Rumble match?
Yep, it made me optimistic because I was like, oh, well, certainly I didn't tear it off the bone like the other one. Like maybe I don't know, because it hurt. Like I knew immediately.
Wow.
I was just like, oh, this isn't good.
How far into the match? Do you remember the moment it happened?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, not that far into it. I still had a bit to go.
And you just had to gut it out?
You make split-second assessments, I think, in situations like that, and I have famously been in Royal Rumbles before where I, probably should have been taken out of them. But this wasn't a concussion, and this was one of those things where I grabbed my arm, dig my finger right in there where my tricep's supposed to be, and there's just a big hole, and I just go, okay, all right, so it's gone. It can't get any worse. You just kind of power through. That's a situation where I think it's acceptable to make the call as a wrestler. Like most other times, I want everyone else to make the call.
Right. There was some hypothesis that an audible was called as a result of this. Is that accurate?
No, but good. I want people to think that.
Okay.
That's the great thing about me.
Right.
It's always audibles. Oh, that didn't mean to happen. Oh, good.
So this is a weird one because, like, oh man, I've been thinking about this interview. I actually drove to Montreal to see my sister. She just gave birth to a girl.
Mazel tov.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I was in the car by myself, 6 hours here to there, 6 hours back. And all I did was think about this chat because there's so many chapters since we last spoke that I would love to cover with you.
Sure.
But the chapter that I think is most interesting to start with is the return, if we can. So WWE is back in Chicago, Survivor Series, November 2023. Mm-hmm. You return. When does that ball start to roll? Because I think a lot of people are hoping, all right, you're free and clear. Could it happen? They're looking for any sign. Someone says something in commentary. Oh my God, he's foreshadowing. When does that ball actually start to roll towards the return on that Saturday night?
Slight percentages, I think, over the years start that ball rolling, but to really get in, like the action of it started the week of, I think, Thanksgiving, maybe. I'd have to look at a calendar to figure out dates exactly. I remember like times and places of where I was when I would get phone calls and such. And I had a CFFC show coming up, I think. So I got a call from Nick Khan, and he was just like, "Hey, we want to talk to you." And I was like, "Cool. On my way to the gym, and I got this coming up, CFFC. I'll be back there. Cool. You want to talk Monday? Great." So it was the week of Thanksgiving, Monday. I spoke to him.
And to be clear, for those that may not know, Survivor Series was the Saturday after Thanksgiving. Yeah. Thanksgiving is a Thursday.
Yeah. So Monday before I came back. Yeah.
That's 5 days away from Survivor Series.
Yeah.
You get the call.
Yeah.
What was that call like?
I think the call, I'm always so nervous about pulling the curtain back on stuff, but I think the call was more of a, hey, we want to talk to you about coming back. You know, we'd love you for Royal Rumble, you know, and because they assumed that I probably had some sort of a non-compete or something like that, and were kind of floored when I was like, no, man, I'm ready to go. Let's do it. Saturday.
Did you ever have a non-compete, even if it was for a month?
No.
Zero. You could have signed the next day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And Nick said, I really wish I knew that. Sorry, man. I didn't call or tell anybody. I just kind of laid low for a minute.
So from that phone call to a deal being struck, how long does it take?
I mean, every single minute of all those days. It really ramped up because it was like, hey, I want to talk to you about coming back. Okay, you know, this is how I feel. Oh, well, this is how I feel. Okay, great. You know, I'd really love to talk to Triple H. You know, and it's funny now because everybody calls him Paul.
Right, right.
You know, so I'll go to Barclays after this later today, and somebody will come up to me and they'll be like, oh, hey, I was talking to Paul about this, and we need you to do this, and blah blah blah. And for the entirety of the conversation, I'll be like, why is Paul Heyman? Oh, they mean Paul. So it's that's a generational thing. You know, I always call him Triple H or Hunter. That's what it is. And then when I spoke to him, that's when the ball really got rolling. You know, because it was a very I asked him if he wanted to talk on the phone, and he said no. I would actually rather I would like to FaceTime you so I can see you. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. You know, and we just talked about a whole lot of stuff, and about, you know, stuff that was at one point serious to probably both of us that is like silly now, and we just kind of laughed, buried a hatchet, and then we started talking business. And I was like, man, this is like Thanksgiving. I don't want to bother you. You're with your girls, like, you know, we can talk about it later. But then I was just like, oh, well, Friday, and then the show's Saturday. It all got done very, very fast. My lawyer was not stoked to be working OT on Thanksgiving, but he gets paid handsomely. So,
did you feel like that conversation had to happen for this to proceed and be successful? Like you couldn't just show up on Saturday at the arena without having that conversation with him?
I think there's a world where it very much didn't have to happen, but I think we're both men. And I think we're both, gonna talk about stuff, you know, especially when it comes to business. But, you know, I do think it was important knowing where we wanted to go to talk about stuff and get it all out of the way. You know?
How long was it, the initial FaceTime call?
God, I don't know, Ariel. We chatted for a while, you know. Because I saw him, I don't know when it was, where I went to the building to visit people and I got thrown out.
That was in May, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, so I saw him for like a heartbeat there. So like I think obviously things happen behind the scenes in sports and they take on lives of their own, you know, and people run with it and people might not know like the details. And so of course everybody thinks, you know, we hate each other. Like on-site fist fight, hate each other. And I don't know if that was ever, you know, the case, but that's kind of what we needed to talk about, you know. And I saw him back in May, and you know, and then I think he had to make a phone call, and somebody was like, "Now get him out of the building." I was like, all right, cool.
Was that Vince's call?
Yeah.
And did you show up unannounced?
Yeah.
No one invited you?
Yeah, I was again. I love plugging CFFC. We have a show coming up, by the way, April 12th in Atlantic City.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
You'll be on the call for that?
I will be on the cans.
I love it.
Yeah.
You do a great job with those.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, I did a CFFC in, I want to say Orlando or Tampa, I can't remember. And I was on a flight back to Chicago, and I was sitting next to guy named Jason Jordan, he was a wrestler, got a neck injury, and now he's been a producer for WWE for quite some time. And like the last time I saw him was every bit of a decade ago when I was doing like some charity stuff for Steve Kern. This is pre-NXT, it was called FCW. Mm-hmm. And I see him and I'm looking at him and like he looks at me and he says hi and I'm like, all right, shit, dude doesn't recognize me, okay, you know. And then all of a sudden he turns and he looks and he's like, well, holy shit, what are you doing here? And I was like, yeah, I thought it was you, you know, and I'm chatting with him. And I see all these other wrestlers getting on the plane and stuff like that. And then you know, there's a whole gap. There's a generation of people that I never met that started pretty much right after I left, 2014, 2015. Nice lady by the name of Liv Morgan helped me find my earbuds that fell out of my pocket while I was sleeping on the flight. She was a sweetheart. She like, whole plane empties and she's like on her hands and knees, like looking around. She's got small hands. She's like digging under the seats and, you know, and looking for stuff. And then my friend Bailey messaged me and she's like, oh, my friend Liv was on the flight with you. She says you were so nice to her. I was like, oh yeah. She's like, yeah, we have a show in Chicago. You should come visit. Throwing Bailey under the bus now. Huh. Yeah, it's all her fault. And then I laughed because like I landed, got on the train, went home, and I was, you know, I'm no wife, no dog. I don't have anything to do, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna go visit my friend Bailey, and I went.
And that was your first time back since 2014, backstage at a WWE event.
Yeah.
And did it feel good? Did you feel on edge? Because I thought when I asked you at the top here, like when did the ball start rolling? I thought maybe it started then, but you were still under contract, right, with AEW.
I went to visit people. There
was no ulterior motive.
I'm the old timer in the business, and there's a show in town. I wasn't trying to get a job or anything. I literally went, and I saw like the few people that I saw before I got thrown out. Like it was all, I saw Miz, saw Bobby Lashley, Baron Corbin, like everybody was just so nice and kind, you know. That's the only reason I went, maybe for free catering. Yeah. Were
you mad that they asked you to leave, or did you understand?
I expected it, you know. I expected that to go. I wasn't sure if Vince was there, if he was, I think he was doing stuff remote via Zoom, you know, because this is in between, like Vince is gone, now he's back. And I didn't know the politics of things. I just went to go say hi to Bailey, a few other people.
Did anyone from AEW get mad that you were there?
Oh, yeah.
What happened?
Yeah.
Don't want to talk about that.
I think the word betrayed was used, and I was just like, all right, man. Like, as a company, you're allowing guys to go on their television show to do things. I went backstage to say hi to friends. It's two completely different things. Like, you know, if you're going to be mad about it, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So back to November that ball starts to roll. Survivor Series is Saturday. My understanding was, correct me if this is right or wrong, my understanding was you show up and I think the show has already begun. You only signed your contract after you appeared on TV. Is that accurate?
No, they would never. I don't think they would ever have allowed me to even be on television without signing something.
Okay.
I literally like on the phone with the okay, all right, sign, go.
Okay, so maybe I got the timeline.
I signed, and then walked into Gorilla, and it was like the most crowded elevator. Like there was just everyone just turns and looks, and the, jaws drop on the floor, and people are like, "What?" And then, the world saw what came next.
How many people do you think knew that you were gonna appear that night?
I'd be surprised if you needed, more than two hands to count.
So we had Becky on the show last week. I don't know if you saw her comment. She said that her husband Seth didn't know, Colby didn't know, and that he was not happy about that. And other people have said this, and I don't know, right? Like I'm just taking their words at face value. Is that accurate? Did all these guys not know?
I don't know.
You certainly didn't tip them off.
No. I was in the same boat as everybody else, where like the weeks leading up to it, they were doing all these weird little things that happen too often to seem to be coincidences. Oh, somebody uses the GTS. Somebody says best in the world. And on their face, you go, that doesn't matter. But I'm sitting at home going, should I be tanning? Like I haven't spoke to anybody. I don't know what's going on. People are messaging me. They're like, "Oh, you're coming back. We're so excited." And I'm just like, it's just another day in professional wrestling where, for some reason, I'm like a magnet for that stuff. But I didn't tell anybody. And I think that's why it was a secret and it was such a shock. My wife knew, Nick, Triple H, lawyers. That's who knew on my side. I text my family, like my sisters and stuff, while I was, don't text and drive, ladies and gentlemen.
Please.
Don't do it. It's voice text, voice to text. I was in my car driving to the Allstate, which is the Rosemont. It's always going to be the Rosemont Horizon to me. Yeah.
That's when you told your family.
That's when I said, "Hey guys, just heads up. I'll talk to you all about it in depth tomorrow. This came together really, really fast. I'm on my way to the building right now."
Were you holding out hope with all those clues being dropped back in Chicago? You're a free man. Were you hoping to get that call? Were you not sitting around and being like, "Oh gosh, I hope they call me," but like, was there someone in the back of your mind saying like, "This would be nice. I'm ready for this"?
Yeah, the wrestling booker in my head was like, "Oh, this is the sweet spot. This is the business. This is what you do." But I wasn't desperate for, like a job or anything like that. Which makes it sound like I'm not grateful for where I'm at right now, which is the exact opposite. Like it's been an absolute dream thus far. So yeah, like I can't turn that part of my head off. The wrestling booker, I'm always doing, this is, so that part's always going to be in motion.
What is that feeling like when you walk out? Even like those seconds before the music is going to hit, and then you walk out to that reception back on WWE television for the first time in almost 10 years. Like, can you even put that into words? What is that like?
No, I can't put it into words. I can almost tell you just how, like what we do is like ephemeral, right? It's gone. It happens and it's gone. What we leave people with are like lasting memories and moments. And I have been fortunate enough, no matter what anybody says, like how overrated I am, how shitty I am, how I don't deserve whatever. Man, I've made some great moments, and just when I think, okay, that's the top, it can't get any better than that, I have another one. And then when I think, wow, that's cool, I squeaked out another one. How lucky am I? It happens again. And that was one of them, like when it's so loud in the building, and it's your favorite building in the world to perform in, you can't hear your entrance music. And we're all performers. We all have cues based on our music. You know how long the song is, what you can do. And I didn't have any parameters of, okay, we're crashing to break. So I'm I'm milking the whole song. And then I went out there and I went, I can't hear the song because people were so loud. It was like watching a Blackhawks game in the Chicago Stadium in like, 1989 or something like that. It was pure magic.
And then when you go backstage after that,
Yeah.
what is the reception like? Because now you're out in the open, right? Now everyone is able. What did you feel?
I mean, there's cameras in my face the entire time.
Okay.
I'm sure at some point everyone will see that footage, but everyone's hooting and hollering, and you're the belle of the ball. People are slapping you on the back, they're kissing you on the mouth, they're hugging you. Everybody's stoked to see you. Everything's welcome back. Everybody. It is very infectious. Like, I still do it. Like, I very much, even if I'm not involved in something, like say Rock coming back, like I don't want to get in the way, but I want to be in that room just because I want to feel that energy. And it's I might learn something. Even just standing here, fly on the wall. Like, I might learn something. Because a lot of times when it's you and you're the one creating that buzz and you're creating that moment and that energy, it might get lost on you, or you're thinking about performing. So I like being the fly on the wall where I don't got no pressure, I ain't got shit to do, so I can just kind of watch stuff. But yeah, being backstage after that, like, that's 100% a moment that you just don't want it to end.
You said on the Monday after, you said, I'm home, right?
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, because obviously WWE so big in your career, but does this feel like the same place that you left 10 years ago? Meaning,
it does not.
In what way?
So somebody said this to me, and I get uncomfortable when I'm talking about myself, my contributions. It's very hard to do without sounding supremely egotistical, right? I'm always trying to be on the back foot and be humble and stuff, but there's a lot of people who wouldn't be in the industry if it wasn't for me. And I'm not saying that, I'm just talking about inspiration. I'm not saying that I help them in any way, the same way that I wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Brett or Roddy Piper or, the guys that paved the way for me. Even if I was just a fan of them on television without developing relationships with them, like, they're the reason I'm here. So there's a lot of that. And it's hard for me to talk about, like what I've done and all that. But somebody explained it to me like this. They said, I'm super glad you're back here so you can experience the culture backstage that you helped create. Because you were a catalyst for this, and then you left. And now you're back, and I'm glad you get to enjoy it and see the fruits of your labor. And that hit me right here. I was just like, that's really cool.
And you notice it.
That. Oh yeah.
It's palpable.
Yeah.
And could you explain, like, what is the difference? Is it just people are friendlier? Is it people are more welcoming?
Again, I struggle with pulling the curtain back because a lot of the times, like, if you were just to straight up ask me, how's the locker room? I want to say, none of your business.
Okay.
I
get that.
Because we give away so much. And a lot of the times it hurts us as performers, as pro wrestlers. Like, we're giving away too much, So it's almost like I want everybody to believe all the bullshit and the lies about me, because it's just it helps me make more money. It helps me draw more money. I just want all those people, like, if you're gonna believe all that wild, crazy bullshit, like, believe it and then just leave me the fuck alone. But that's the thing, is like, they can never just leave me alone. Everybody's always talking and chirping. It's different in a sense that I'm not going to say friendlier. No, fuck it. I am going to say friendlier. But you have to realize, like, to talk about the way the culture is now, you have to talk about the way the culture was when I got there. And I showed up, and it was very much Shark Tank, cutthroat, super competitive. And everybody looked at me like, fuck you, why are you here? You don't belong here. And I was on television with nothing but top guys. I mean, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, The Undertaker, Ric Flair, Kurt Angle, Kane. There's probably like 5 other guys I'm 100% forgetting, but you know, like it was brutal, you know, and to try to scratch and claw to get recognized and noticed, and to get that little bit of TV time that I was allotted, like it was a lot different. Now I think it's more laid back, you know. I think that's probably the best way to say it. It's a relaxed atmosphere.
In the last few months, at any point did you have a face-to-face with Vince?
I saw him at the Towers. Because again, everything happened so fast. So Monday before Thanksgiving, get a phone call. Oh, we realize we can do this. And I was just, and you know, and again, Nick Khan, hey man, if it doesn't happen by Saturday, you know, Royal Rumble, you know, and I was like, Nick, I don't want to give away any leverage in negotiation, but Saturday's the business, like that. It has to happen, you know. So hammering out a deal, Saturday debut, Sunday I'm at home and I'm like, man, this is strange. I don't know what we're doing, where this is going, but it feels right. And then I get a call, oh, hey, we should probably get you travel to TV. We're in Nashville. So I fly to Nashville. I think I went home and I can't remember where I flew from there, but it was a SmackDown. And that night they were just like, do you want to come on the jet? You do NXT? And I just went, yeah, sounds great. So we're flying by the seat of our pants. We're doing all this stuff real last minute. And I had a carry-on, so I didn't have any clothes. So, you know, as long as you guys find me a place to do my laundry, I need a gym, I got to work out. You know, oh, we'll give you a tour of the new towers. You know, you come to the gym. Oh, great. It's always a badass gym. Everything was state-of-the-art, and I was in there, and I was on the phone on a treadmill warming up, and Vince's trainer's like, hey, he's like, you got to get off the phone. Vince doesn't like it when people are on the phone and you're in the gym. And I was on the phone with Nick. I was just kind of like, oh, okay,
yeah.
You know, all right, you know. And then I saw him walking down into the gym. He came in for his daily workout. Yeah.
And what was that like?
He gave me a big hug. He said, welcome home. Good to see you. Let's connect after I work out. And I was like, all right. Haven't seen him since.
You didn't connect?
No. I think some stuff came up, Ariel.
Oh, I thought maybe literally like an hour later. I didn't know if he was like, come up to the office and let's have a tete-a-tete.
No, I had to go.
Okay.
I had to like work out and go.
Is that the only conversation that you've had with him since returning? Wow.
Yeah.
How do you feel about what's transpired since?
I mean, how do you feel? There's no positivity there. You know, there's very much I didn't read all the allegations. I read text messages, and I went, oh, fuck this. Like, what? It's indefensible, you know? And I think, you know, doing this, I'd imagined I was going to be asked about it, you know? And I think the easiest thing for people to do is to kind of ignore it or avoid it. But man, it's there. And my initial first thing out of my mouth was, I'm kind of shocked at how dumb he was, like writing stuff down and leaving that paper trail. And it's horrific. And I'm not, like, I think at this point, all the energy should be used to somehow, I don't even know if you can make reparations or amends, but there's victims here, you know? So like what CM Punk thinks about Vince and the CM Punk Vince relationship doesn't fucking mean anything. All that stuff takes a back seat. I'm more concerned about like going forward, how do those people survive after suffering all that trauma? My biggest concern, you know?
Do you think that the business is better off if he's not in it?
At this point, how do you say anything but no? But yeah, the business,
right.
Have a field day with that one. How do you say anything but yes, the business is better without
obviously you weren't around for the last 10 years, but did you know, you know, let's be honest, Vince McMahon wasn't an angel. Everyone knew that he wasn't an angel. but this is like next level. This is evil, right? Like this is next level stuff. If what is being alleged is true, right? Did you have any idea that this type of behavior was going on behind the scenes?
No. And again, the biggest thing I can draw a comparison to is when Chris Benoit did a murder-suicide, right? I was friends with Chris Benoit. And I don't know if it's just how I process things, but I'm famously like on camera weeping, you know, saying goodbye to Chris, because at the time we didn't know, right? We didn't know he had, you know, murdered his wife and his son. And the week prior, we're in Dothan, Alabama, and I'm traveling with him, and we're on the road, and he grabs me and runs me into the trainer's room, and he points, and his little son is in the corner, and he's taped up his hands, and he's drawn X's on his hands, you know? So, like, coming to terms with, that's my friend, he did this horrible thing. Obviously, fuck him, fuck that. But then, you know, like I don't have memories of Chris Benoit traveling with me and you know, murdering people at the gym.
Right.
So there was never any instances where I'd, you know, be in a room with Vince and he's shitting on somebody or sexually assaulting somebody. You know, it wasn't like Caligula in Rome. We just didn't see it, you know. But there's that part of me that goes, just like Benoit, okay. Yeah, okay, I can see that. And that's the thing, is like, I'm sure Jeffrey Dahmer's mother wasn't like, oh, I can see my boy doing that. No, like, people are shocked that their friend or mentor or whatever is responsible for doing these horrible things. But I'm just more of I guess I'm pragmatic, where I just kind of looked and I went, yeah, okay. All right, okay, I can see that. Kind of nutty, you know. Chris is kind of intense. He's quiet, and then you just, you know, you build that in your head, you know. But I mean, it's very, very hard to reconcile. I heard what Becky said, where she, you know, like, because Vince is a father figure to a lot of people. Vince, I think, liked to develop the father relationship, and I think that's why he was always fascinated with me, because I was just like, fuck you, I got a dad. I don't, you know, you're my boss. Like, let's just keep it that way. But it's been a while. Like, it's just been wild, all that shit. It's sad.
Yeah, no, it's sad, and again, like I said, it's evil.
He ruined his life. And he ruined his life, ruining other people's lives. You know, so there's very much a part of me that's just like, all right, we got him, good. Shuffle him into the basement.
I struggle with asking you some of these questions, and you can say whatever you want, if only because I have so much respect for the business. So I will ask you the question, you can tell me to fuck off.
Okay.
What was the plan for you for WrestleMania? That's what everyone, that's like the $64 million question at this point, because they want to try to put we want to try to put the pieces together. Like, was this the original plan? Did it go here? Did it go then there because of the injury? So could you tell us, as of Royal Rumble, what was the plan for you for April 6th and 7th?
It changed a lot, you know, because I came back in and I told Triple H, I was like, look, man, I'm not here to steal anybody's spotlight, take anybody's main event. Like, I get it. I was pissed 10 years ago when I had to sit through Rock Cena 2 years in a row, you know, and now, but everything's different. Mania's 2 nights now. So more people get that opportunity. And for me, it was always just about the booker in my head. You cannot become main event talent unless you work with other main event talent. You cannot become main event talent unless you work in the main event spots that are normally afforded only for the main event talent, right? And that's just what I craved, was more knowledge, more experience. I want to be that guy. I want to see if I can be that guy, because I know I can. I know there's people that don't think I can, so that's more motivation to show them that, yes, 100%, I am that guy. The plan, I think, was going to be me and Seth.
For his belt?
Yeah.
Would it have been main event of night 1?
I believe so, yeah.
Which would have
but again, I'm not, I came in and I said, I'm not asking questions. You know, you're
I
the
saw
boss.
that in your video blog, the one leading up to Royal Rumble that they put together, where you're on the treadmill and you're like, before I used to stress about X, Y, and Z.
Yes.
Now you're just kind of letting.
What am I doing at TV?
Right.
Where are we going with this? The booker in my head. I'm looking 6 months, 8 months, 12 months into the future. Like, what are we doing? You know? And now, after doing all that and all the experiences I've had, I'm just kind of just like, all right.
Did you like that though? If that was it, would you have been happy with that?
Me and Seth? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. There's history there. There's a story there.
Was a part of you hoping for something else? You, Roman, you, Cody, you were content with this?
No. Yeah, 100%. I mean, Roman, I think, is the guy right now. So if you were to say to anybody on the roster, you're going to be in the main event at WrestleMania, who do you want to wrestle? You say Roman. Mm-hmm. That's a business formula. That's what you do. You know, and there's other people, but you know, they're like me. They're like semi-retired, you know, and stuff. But yeah, I could sink my teeth into me and Seth.
How are you and Roman? What is your relationship like? Because I did.
We hate each other.
I did an interview with him in 2021. No, that's not true. And he commented on your return. Mm-hmm. And then he made T-shirts off of this, the needle mover T-shirt, and whatnot.
Yeah.
How do you guys get along?
It's all business, baby. Yeah. 100%.
As you said, you're not here to make friends. You're here to make business or make money.
I am not here to make friends. If I have some friends from my prior 10 years in the company, awesome. You know, if I make some friends along the way, that's just sprinkles on top of a cupcake. I'm here to do business and make money. But the ironic thing about that is you wind up becoming friends with the people you make money with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you and Paul Heyman? You referenced him, the wise man, right? How are you guys now?
We're great. It's going into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will you be there?
Oh, yeah, I can't miss that. Yeah, 100%.
Okay. How do you feel about the way things have shaken out now? You know, Rock comes back. We think he's going to take Cody's spot. Like, just Booker now. Yeah. I'm talking to, you know, Phil the Booker. How do you feel about this?
I like it because, to me, you always want to leave people asking questions. And our audience is much wider than the internet, right? I know a lot of kids are on the internet, YouTube and TikTok and all that other stuff, but the TV audience is so much broader and it's global. So Rock coming back is huge, you know? Gets a lot of eyeballs on different people, and what that does is creates an environment where, okay, you got to step up. I did it 10 years ago when I wrestled The Rock. I very much had that chip on my shoulder that was just like, okay, show him you belong. You know, show him you can swim with the sharks. And now you have Cody and Seth in there in the mix, and they've been building this story for 2 years with Bloodline and, you know, and Cody, and he lost last WrestleMania, so he gets another shot. And I am not the biggest fan of doing the main event of WrestleMania 2 years in a row. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. But if you can make it this good, who am I to say it's bad? You know, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking very forward to that tag match.
Was it the right call to have Roman beat Cody last year?
I mean, look where we're at now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I could go either way. I mean, because you're asking me a question, and it's fantasy booking, and I could fantasy book it the other way, where yeah, Cody does win, but the string of business that we're on, and the string of business that they've done prior to me even coming back, it's pretty impressive, you know, and that's what pro wrestling business is about. It's about making money.
This version of The Rock, like Hollywood Rock, the heel Rock, all that, you know, Versace, swearing, F-bombs.
Yes.
Your thoughts on it? The promos on social media, the stuff that he's been doing there. I'm
more offended at insider wrestling terms being bantered about than I am about F-bombs. I'm not the FCC. I'm not on the board of directors. I don't fucking care if somebody swears. I feel like I started all that because I remember cutting a promo on Rock on the stage and he was in the ring and I was just like, cool, we're all gonna swear, you know, blah, blah, blah. So I see both sides now. You can't argue that he is this big. So does he get to break rules? Fucking absolutely. Guess what? So do I. You know? And is it unfair? maybe. I'm not ever trying to do anything malicious. I'm not using a set of tools that are completely off limits to somebody else. It's not my company, but again, the booker in me, if somebody lower on the card is going to drop an F-bomb on television, it's got to be as good as when Rock fucking did it. Because otherwise you're in trouble.
So you don't like heel and things like that being used?
No, I don't. Okay. I don't like that.
That's
stuff.
too close to the bone.
Yeah, I mean, I just think there's other things. There's other ways to do it.
Okay.
And that's the fun thing about pro wrestling. There's always different ways to do things. You know.
August of 2023, London. You arrive in London.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about this. Yeah, go ahead.
How does that go? What happens?
There's nobody there to pick me up, and it's not a big deal. I just got on the tube, and I was like, adventure, you know. And
you have to figure it out for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, but that part was fun. But it's completely irresponsible as a company to, you know, leave somebody stranded at the airport. But, you know, I understand the sentiments. You know, people, you know, all the smarties on Twitter, like, oh, can't you just take an Uber? Will you, big crybaby? I never cried about it once. Not once.
How do people find out about these things?
Well, there were fans on the tube.
Okay.
They're taking pictures. And, you know, like I'm sitting there, I'm just sitting on the tube, and I'm just like, this is neat.
You feel like adult?
I'm still the guy. When I fly in and out of Chicago, I take the Blue Line home.
Right.
I'm not trying to, you know, be super fancy and shit like that.
Where are you backstage? Jack Perry's on screen, and he says, real glass, why don't you cry about it? Where are you when this is said?
I was in my locker room.
Did you feel like that was directed at you?
Yes.
Why?
Okay, it obviously was directed at me.
Well, because, okay, so for those that may not know, apparently he had a trip planned. He wanted to use glass. You were consulted. You said, why would you use glass? Correct me, you lived it. So I'm trying to bring people up to speed.
This is one of those things where it's just like, there's all these rumors about NDAs.
Yes.
There's a big difference between not being allowed to talk about some shit or just not wanting to talk about some shit. I don't necessarily want to litigate this again.
You say again, you never talked about it publicly, but
no,
you mean like just like
I guess I haven't, but that's the thing. So Tony's big idea was separate show. We're going to separate everybody. And I said, that'll never work. Just let me go. Just get me out of here. Just pay me my money. I've already been off TV. I hurt this arm. Just get me out of here. You know, no, I can't let you go. Why? Just let me go. Who cares? It's best. I mean, these guys don't want me here. This isn't a real business. This isn't a business predicated on making money, drawing money, selling tickets, you know, doing business. It's not what it was sold to me as. So let me go. No, I can't let you go. I'm going to do this new show. You're going to have blah, blah, blah. And then the second day we have this show, I'm sitting in catering, minding my own business, and Tony Schiavone comes and gets me, and he's like, hey, I really need your help. And I was like, what? He's like, Jack is, you know, cussing me out, and he's cussed out Mike Mansouri, and he cussed out Daryl from production, and he's cussing out the doctor right now. Why? What? And I was immediately like, dude isn't supposed to be here. You know, I was told people are getting separated, so there's not problems, and you don't want me involved in this because just like everything else I've explained before, like, y'all need to handle this, because if you don't, I'm going to handle it, and you're not going to like the way I handle it. Prophetic words. So he's begging me. Now, please, he drags me out of catering. I go up. Hook and Jack are doing an angle. I don't know anything about Jack going on vacation. All I know is there's a litany of people that don't want, they work 1 day a week and they don't want to. So they want to show up and wrestle and then film vignettes and then sit at home for 4 weeks. Great, not my company. Do what you want. But not on my show. That was my attitude. So I said, Tony, you really want me doing this? Yeah. And I walked up to Jack, and he was sitting in a car. What he wanted to do, it was a rental car. What he wanted to do was smash the window of the rental car with a pipe. And I was just like, it's a rental car. And I very politely, because I like Jack, I was just like, Doc's told you no, Daryl's told you no, Mike's told you no, Shivani's told you no, and now I have to tell you no. And apparently you've cussed them all out. So I'm telling you no. We don't do that here. If you want to do this, go to Wednesday and do it, right? And he had no problem. He said, okay. He said, well, I just thought it was a really cool idea. And I said, it might be, but this is a rental car. Boys ruin it for the boys. You're going to smash the window of a rental car and you're going to return it with no fucking window. And now whatever national budget hurts, whatever is going to be like, don't rent cars to pro wrestlers anymore. This is a thing that's happened.
Right.
This is, you know, so I wasn't trying to throw my weight around. I wasn't like, this is my show and you gotta get out of here. I was just like, this is fucking dumb, man. And he wanted to do it because so he didn't have to fly back to Canada. And I, you know, sorry, man. We're privileged to be in this business. We're privileged to do this for a living. Like, I get it. I didn't want to go to Canada either. All the flights were delayed, canceled. Everybody's travel sucked. But to come to this new show when everyone's supposed to be separated, to get rid of all the drama, and then, you know, swearing at the doctor because the doctor's like, it's real glass. You're gonna, you know, like, shit's gonna go in your eye. Like, and I get it. I used to be that kid that was like young and I want to do this, you know, but there's a safe way to do it. And I politely explained that to him. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't cuss at him. I was just like, I very much just said, we don't do that here. This is Saturday. It's a different show. If you want to do stuff like this, do it on Wednesday. That was it. I didn't think there was going to be a problem. He obviously took something very business-minded, very personally. And that's fine, because I've done that before too. But it's very much who he's friends with. And, you know, shit never got squashed. Nobody's in charge. And it turned into what it turned into.
So he says that, clearly a shot at you, as you said. Match is over, he goes to the back, what happens?
I went to Tony, and I was just like...
Which Tony, by the way?
Tony Khan.
Okay.
And I was like, please handle that. Like, please. And he was like, what do you want me to do? And I was like, I'm not telling you what to do. Just be the boss, please. Like, I'm tired of this shit. You know? Like, I told you this was a mistake. I told you separate shows wasn't going to work, and now we're all here, and, you know, like, please handle it. Because if you don't, you're not going to like the way I handle it.
Did he handle it?
No. No.
So you did?
Yes.
What happened?
Jack came back from his match. I was the next match. I'm sitting there. And I got people with me. I'm not going to say who they are, you know, because I got a lot of friends who work there, and I wish them all well, and I don't want them to be punished because they're friends with me, you know. And I walk up to him, and I'm just like, Jack, why do you insist on doing this dumb internet shit, like, on TV, you know? And he's just like, well, if you got a problem about it, do something about it. And I was just like, man, come on, man. You know, I'll fucking kill you. Like, what are we doing, you know? And it just, you know, it's like Chael says, sometimes you just can't let you get close, you know? I thought I was doing a responsible thing, you know? I didn't punch anybody. I just choked somebody a little bit. Samoa Joe was there, told me to stop, and then I quit. I turned to Tony and I said, this place is a fucking joke, man. You're a clown, I quit. I went to my room, and then Joe and Jerry Lynn came and got me, and they're like, let's just go out there and kill it. Let's just, and I was just too fired up, and I'm fired up now, and I'm probably gonna regret, you know, talking about all this shit, but that's what happened.
Okay, so for those that don't know, you actually did go out and wrestle.
Yes.
Do you, like, is that all just a blur for you, that match? Do you even remember?
No, that match is I was just like, this is the last time I'm ever going to wrestle Samoa Joe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is my last match in this company.
You knew that?
Yeah, I quit. I said, I fucking quit.
So why did you even go out?
For Joe.
Right.
For Joe, for Paul Turner, the referee, for Jerry Lynn, the agent on the match, because I, you know, respect him, and I thought it was the professional thing to do. All the fans, you know, a lot of fans there.
Yeah.
You know, probably a lot of them to see me, you know. So just go out there and give them a show.
100,000 fans, right?
I don't know. You have to check the turnstile count.
And so you go to the back. What happens then? Like, your match is over. Great match. What happens?
They told me Jack was told to leave. And I was like, do I got to leave? I was like, I want to watch the show. And they're like, no, it's fine. And then, I don't know, a couple matches later, a very nice man by the name of Sam, he was in charge of security. He was like, what are your plans for the rest of the night? And I was like, I was just going to shower and just hang out, watch the show, you know? Because you know, the whole solo locker room thing is fucking lame. I had Joe, I had House of Black, I had all these guys with me. And I was just like, I just want to watch their match, you know? And then he just kind of looked at me and I went, is it easier for you and your job if I leave? And he's just like, yeah, it might be. He's like, but nobody's telling you got to go. Like you know, and I was just like, well, Sam, I'm a man to man. I'm not trying to fuck up your day. You got a job to do. So if it's easier for you, if I split, I'll split. And then I went and got Nando's for a bunch of the boys and went to my hotel room. And, you know, when the show was over, they came by and we ate chicken.
Tremendous spot, by the way.
Nando's is great.
Spicy, the rice.
Oh yeah,
the chips.
Peri, buddy.
That's right.
Yeah.
Did you have to have a conversation? Because what was told to us was you were fired with cause. So you said quit. The devil is in the details there, but did you have a conversation with Tony to say, okay, this is it, we're done. There's not going to be, you have not talked to him?
Nope.
Really? The last time you talked to him was backstage at Wembley?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
He went on air several days later and said he's never been afraid for his life like this. He's been going to shows for 30 years, felt fearful for his life, for the safety of the workers. When you saw this, what is your reaction when you see this? Not only was it it was a promo on TV, but then he also spoke to the crowd, right? There was a clip that surfaced of him talking to the people in your town, right? I believe it was in Chicago, just outside.
Yeah.
When you saw that version of the story being put out, what is your reaction?
I mean, I can't tell you what Tony felt or what he was thinking, but I never did anything that would make him fear for his life. But you know, he's who he is.
Did you feel like your reputation was being slandered? You know,
of course.
Someone hears that and you think, I'll be honest, I hear that and I like, did Punk attack Tony?
Yeah, I know. And everyone's like, oh my God, think of the billionaires. Like,
right.
Fuck. No, yeah, they're very much as a part of, there's a concerted effort to, I guess, slander me and try to ruin my character and stuff like that. Like, and that's kind of the genesis of all the drama, you know? Like, don't do that. Why are you doing that to a guy who works for your company? Why are you lying? Why are you spreading rumors and lies and bullshit about your top guy? Doesn't make any sense. You're only hurting yourself. You're trying to dim my I don't know, you know, jealousy, envy. I don't really know. And again, it's not really the time to litigate it all and everything, but like, it's an unfortunate situation. I have a lot of friends there and there's a lot of good people that work there. I hope they continue to get paid, and I wish them well.
How would you describe what it's like working for Tony?
Man, it's a loaded question, you know, because I don't want this to be. I don't like the drama, you know. But I mean, it's the truth is the truth. Like he's not a boss. He's a nice guy, you know. And I think ultimately that is a detriment to the company. But it's not my company. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm an outsider. I thought I was brought in to, you know, sell merchandise and tickets and draw, you know, numbers for pay-per-views and stuff, and I clearly did that. But that's not what the place was about, and some people didn't like that.
Is there any part of you that's always like, man, I'm 45, I'm tired of this shit?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
And why?
I mean, did you saw my exasperated press conference when I'm eating Mindy's?
Yes, of course.
Drinking Spindrift.
So
there's very much a guy who's just, I'm too old for this shit.
So you just talked about how this all started. So then we go to the feud with Hangman Page, right? Adam Page. And it seems like, correct me if I'm wrong, when you debut in August of 2021, up until like the spring of 2022, it's pretty good times, right? You have that great...
I thought so, yeah.
But then when he says, I'm not here to just, you know, fight you, I'm here to protect you or protect the locker room from you, right? Yeah. In so many words. And the story is that he, you know, went off script, so to speak, and really pissed you off by saying that. Did you feel like that was the first time that your reputation, that your character was being slandered?
What he said didn't matter to me. But when you sit, you know, peeling the curtain back, ladies and gentlemen, and again, if you want to believe all the bad things about me, please do, just leave me alone. if I'm working with you and we sit and we talk, and, you know, like, I think one of the biggest criticisms about WWE was it's overly scripted. There's writers, you know, pro wrestlers don't need writers. Some people don't. Some people do. Some people prefer it, right? It's, you know, but I sat down with him and we hammered, I was very gracious, hammered out this promo. Oh, if you say this, what if you say this? Okay, I'll say this. Oh, if you say that, I'll say this. Okay, great. Great, yeah, awesome, great. And then he proceeds to go on live TV and not say any of the shit that we talked about. I can't hear him because the crowd's so loud, and I'm looking at him, and I have to really pay attention to what he's saying because my responses matter. I can't just say what I had planned because it's not going to match what he's saying to me. And he's saying some shit, and I don't know what he's talking about. And I'm just like, man, why would you do this? Why would you ruin? TV is very expensive. You know, every minute of TV is hundreds of thousands of dollars between production and all that stuff. And you're just shitting on me and you're shitting on the business. Why would you do this? And I knew the promo ended with him punching me. And I had to fight just double leg him. Just double leg. Why is he doing this? I don't know what's going on, but I was a professional. And afterwards, I spoke to him and I was like, why'd you do that? And, you know, he thinks I got one of his friends who hasn't been fired. But I went to Tony and the lawyer and I said, you need to fix that because if I do, you're not going to like the way I fix it. And I thought I was being professional by not just murdering him on television. You know, I know some people are going to be upset about that. And some people are going to be like, oh, he's talking about this guy again. But with me, respect is the default. I respect everybody until you do something that makes me lose my respect for you. And I had never done anything to any of those guys. If they're basing how their attitude is towards me based on some bullshit their friend told them, well, I can't help you. But I got plenty of friends who don't like certain people, and I keep relationships business.
Right.
Right? And yeah, that's everything went off the rails from there. It's a shame. It's a shame. It's really a shame.
And you guys have a match, I believe from what you have said, you were kind of thinking the whole time that it would go off the rails in the match, so you couldn't really like fully.
Well, how could I trust him?
Right, of course.
Yeah.
You injure your foot, right? You break your foot.
The week after, yeah.
Take some time off, come back, and then it's the Moxley match.
Yep. You
win. When you are getting ready to go to that scrum, did you know that you were about to unload all of this, or is it just something in the moment that kind of took over you?
No, getting out there and seeing, you know, reporters that report shit about you like it's fact without ever checking with you to see if stuff happened, who are openly friends with other wrestlers. You know, it's just fucking high school. It's high school, cliquey, mean girls, drama bullshit. And I get there and I see these goofs, you know, and I just, you know, lose my temper. Top 3 CM Punk promos, though.
It was tremendous.
Yeah,
I know you don't like the word. Yeah. Do you like Pipe Bomb now? Because I know one time famously you said you hated Pipe Bomb.
But again, what are we going to do? Are we going to credit me for changing the vernacular of how people talk about promos? Like, or are we going to just be like, he's overrated? You know, like you got to pick a lane.
I like it.
Yeah. I don't mind.
How many terms are that associated with a person, right?
Yeah.
Someone says Pipe Bomb, they know they're talking about you.
That's how I know I did something great that night.
Sure.
You know, people are still talking about it.
That's 2011.
Yeah.
It's been 13 years. So you do that, you say all of that, and it's fascinating going back and watching it because it's clear that Tony's a little bit uncomfortable sitting next to you.
Nothing he'd never heard before.
Mm-hmm. Maybe he didn't know that it would come out right then and there.
Should have handled it.
What happens when that scrum is over?
Went home, got surgery, got my arm fixed.
Can you not talk about that?
I don't think I can.
That's Brawl Out, right?
Yeah.
That's the one where there is an actual...
Yeah.
Is there anything you could tell us about that?
I didn't have to sign an NDA for anything I did wrong.
Interesting.
You know,
what does that mean?
It means I have nothing to hide, and I don't give a shit if people...
So just for the record, once and for all, can you tell us what happened?
No, there's... Oh,
there is?
Yeah.
Oh, for that particular one.
There's an NDA in place for that one, yeah.
You did speak to Mark Ramundi when you came back, right, of ESPN, my pal, and you did say that you kind of regretted the way that was all handled. Is that...
Well, sure. I mean, I think you can go back and be like, well, I wish I never did the scrum. Scrums are stupid anyway.
Would you prefer if there just wasn't a scrum?
Yeah, those things are really cringe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's pro wrestling. Maybe do one. Like I did one like the day I came back. I was like, well, this is a big deal. Like I get it, you know. But the problem you have with pro wrestling is just anybody with a Twitter calls themselves a reporter or a journalist or whatever. And I experienced it firsthand, you know, the amount of misinformation that came out based on that. And again, I will go back to, you want to believe all that shit? I'm Bruiser Brody, and I'm running around, I'm running through the hallways, and I'm just fucking sucker punching people and all that. Great, man. Awesome. Believe it. Believe it. Because I'm over here, and I'm making money off it, and you ain't. Believe it. But it's just the amount of just lies and bullshit. It feels a little bit good to say that a lot of it is lies and bullshit, you know? But yeah, everyone's gonna, the people that don't like me based on that stuff, they don't like me anyway. They're not my audience anyway, you know? I don't know what else to say.
Can I ask about, why is there an NDA? Like, so something happened, things happen, people have talked about them, worse things have happened in pro wrestling and in life. Why is there an NDA for this particular one?
You would have to ask the person that wanted me to sign an NDA.
Would that be Tony?
Yeah.
I did try to ask him about it one time in an interview.
I can't
it didn't go very well.
I can't imagine he answered you.
No.
Yeah, and again, I am very uncomfortable right now, like talking about this
I
stuff.
don't want to make you uncomfortable.
No. Well, I mean, I figured it was inevitable when I walked in the door, you know, but I also didn't want to be the guy that was just like, I appreciate that question, Ariel, can't talk about it for 90 minutes or 60 minutes or whatever, you know? Like, I'm a human being, and this is real life shit that happened, and I don't mind talking about it because, again, I didn't want anybody to sign an NDA to hide some kind of bullshit that I did, you know?
In your mind, when that was done, did you think that perhaps you were done with the company?
Yeah.
You would have preferred that. And for the record, did you injure your tricep? Can you tell us that? If not, you know, I understand. In the incident, or was it in the match? Okay. Damn.
Yeah.
Will you ever be able to talk about this?
I don't know.
Is there a... Okay.
I don't know.
I don't know how I've never had to sign one.
Why does anybody want to talk about it?
Well, just for the record, you know, just to know.
It's grown into this ridiculous thing, you know? Like, again, just go ahead and believe what you want.
So you go away, and it's kind of good timing because obviously you never want to get hurt, but we don't know if you're suspended, if you're hurt, if you're recovering from surgery, you just disappear. Did you ever get close to being let go at that point? You said at the beginning of all this, you said, please, you know, let's just do it here.
Well, nobody in the company spoke to me for, I don't know, six months.
How's that possible?
I don't know.
Not a soul.
Paid for my surgery, booked my surgery. You know, thankfully, Dr. Sampson, who I knew from WWE, I have a good rapport with, like, he helped me with that. But, like, I was on my own and all that stuff. And, you know, if you think I deserve to be, you know, fired or treated like that, that's your opinion. It's none of my business what you think of me. But, like, you know, doing this one and the recovery for this one, based on how the recovery went for that one, I'm just like, man, it's night and day. And it's almost the comparison between, you know, places where there's structure and there's protocols and there's professional people in charge of things, and I'm not having to research and find a PT spot. You know, I had no help, like nothing. And that's insane to me. Is that how they treat the Jaguars players? I don't know, you know, but I don't think anybody should be treated like that. You're a professional athlete, you know, like I had no help. Nobody would speak to me.
So ultimately, why did you come back?
I got a lot of friends there, and, you know, even though I thought the separate show and separating everybody without, you know, getting everybody in a room and squashing it was not going to work. You know, part of me was just like, well, he's not going to let me go. Like, I'm either going to be sitting at home, or I could try to do some good. And if I can get a crew of people on television and maybe do some fun shows, like that sounded fun to me. You know, like, okay, you know, preferably I would like to be out of here. And then I think everybody's happy, because I don't do this because I need to. I do it because I want to, and it's supposed to be fun, especially at this level, you know?
And could I ask, how much time did you have left on your deal? Like, was it something that you could have maybe dragged your feet and the clock was ticking, or was there a considerable amount of time?
Yeah, maybe I'm the stupid Mark. Maybe I should have been like, oh, my arm's not healed. I'm just going to sit at home, you know?
Was it almost done?
My deal? I don't think so.
Okay.
I think I had like a year left.
Could you tell, though, right away? I mean, you mentioned the Jack, you know, conversation, but could you tell right away that nothing much had changed? That it was, like, was there a moment there where you're like, you know what, this could work? This is nice. No.
No. No, I knew, I was like, it's never going to work. And you can't, that's not the way you facilitate things. You know, and I'll always go back to so many different stories in wrestling about people flying off the handle and socking each other and then going on to make money. And how many times does it happen on a basketball court? How many times, like, it happened a couple of years ago in an NHL practice game. Like the St. Louis Blues started beating the shit out of each other. It's just like, you know, I don't know. To me, that's life, and that's where I come from. And to other people, it's like the most outrageous thing in the world. You know, I'm the devil.
When you came back, you said that David Zaslav, the head of WBD, calls you One Bill Phil.
Yeah.
And because you're the true, genuine article in this business, in a business full of counterfeit bucks. Was that you going off script?
No, that's me. You know, because the thing, going back to the pipe bomb, a lot of things that people don't understand about what they think is it's a shoot promo. I never do anything that exposes the business. I know where the line is, and I know where to dip my toe over the line, right? It changed the landscape of WWE, because the reason I said Paul Heyman's name and Brock Lesnar's name is because I was not supposed to. Like, persona non grata, right? And to me, it's not that big of a deal mentioning these two guys' names. But to everybody, because everybody knew the rules and they knew the parameters and they knew that would specifically piss somebody off, like, I said it. So to me, I'm getting away with murder, but I haven't even, like, kicked the dog, you know? And everything I said was related to everything that was on television. Same with that line. Now, if you want to think that I was talking about somebody because I was talking about currency and bucks, that's on you. But that's the magic of CM Punk, that I know where that line is, and I say and I do things that make you go, oh, I know this is all phony bullshit, but that guy's real. And if now I'm real and I'm absolutely insane and everybody backstage hates me and I'm this diabolical person that is going to whip your ass if you do some fucked up shit, great.
Dare I say this happened this past Monday?
Exactly.
With Drew McIntyre.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
People freaked out over that one.
Yep.
It was a great line.
Thank you.
Regarding your time in AEW, is there anything that you're proud of?
Yeah, because I think people expect me to be like, burn it all down, you know, blah, blah, blah. But I made a lot of great friends there, which is ironic because I'm the guy that's just like, oh, I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make money. But again, the people you work with, you wind up becoming friends with. And I did cool stuff. I got to work with Sting. You know, let's talk about like a weird thing. Like, it's not even on the bucket list because it's just something you don't consider that is a possibility. You know, I worked with Sting in the Greensboro Coliseum. Like, it's fucking wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I think the positives definitely outweigh, the negatives.
Really?
I look at it more like I thought I was coming in to help business. If I could teach something, great. And I think I was just brought in for other reasons, you know, like their business. And I know a lot of people are gonna be upset. It's just not predicated. It's not a real business. It's not about.
What do you mean by that?
It's not about selling tickets. It's not about drawing money. It's not about making money. It's just not.
What's it about?
I don't know.
Really?
I think having good matches, maybe. And there's nothing wrong with that. I was recently at an indie show, and somebody came up to me and they asked me, you know, oh, did you watch my match? And I said, yeah. They're like, oh, can you give me anything? And I almost really kind of faced like this dilemma, because where I was just like, and I looked at her and I said, what do you think I'm going to say? Well, you're going to tell me I need to sell more and not do as many moves. Yeah, okay, because it's a preference, right? Like it's a flavor of ice cream. But then I asked her, I said, what's the house here tonight? And she said, it's sold out. It's an arcade bar in Chicago. And I said, what can I tell you? You sold the place out. So at this level, and this wasn't like I'm on this level and I'm talking down to you, but I said, at this level, you're doing everything you can. I said, but that shit does not fly on national television. I think that's being proven right now. Maybe sometimes, maybe little bites here and there. It's not a sustainable business.
What about your time with MJF? Selfishly, you didn't ask me, but my favorite stuff that you did there was the stuff with MJF.
I think it's head and shoulders above everything else.
Did you enjoy the feud with him?
I did, yeah.
Do you think that he could be one of the big stars, one of the faces of the business? He's relatively young still. Do you feel like he could be one of those guys? Yeah, I think there's a lot. The talent there is unbelievable. You know what I mean? I just think it's presentation and environment. I'm going to get in so much fucking trouble for all this. But by who?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, the internet.
You haven't tweeted since 2022.
The basement. Oh, I got rid of that shit.
Yeah. So who cares?
Goddamn cesspool.
I know.
Yeah, it's awful.
I wish I could do the same.
And like that's the thing too. Is just like, do I really care? I don't know. Like there's just really small niche audience that seems to be just like constantly like rooting for my downfall. And the LOL, he got hurt again. But they don't talk about all the great things that I've done. It's always just like, oh, LOL, he lost in the UFC. Well, yeah, okay. This is the shit that happens when you're an ambitious person. I would much rather choke to death on greatness than, you know, starve on mediocrity. And nobody punches up. You know what I mean? Nobody punches down. They punch up. Like, and I get it. Like, I say what's on my mind. I'm abrasive. I'm honest. A lot of people don't like honesty. I think, you know, time is on my side. And I legitimately do wish everybody there well. I'm just recounting the past.
Sure. And I'm asking you.
Yeah. No, I think MJF is great, and I think where he wasn't great is when he catered to that small niche internet audience. But again, there's levels. So if that's their audience, then go for it.
Do you think they'll be around, like, given the fact that you say, like, will they be around in?
This is a loaded question. I think
like
the company, as a whole, I think it's always going to exist as long as Tony wants to put money into it.
Okay. But can they be as successful? Like, do you feel like they're trending? Do you watch them even?
What's successful though? Like, what's the definition? See, this is what I'm talking about, like levels. You know, because like I started on the indies, and to me, successful was I can eat tonight. I have gas money to get to wherever I was going, and man, I had a good match. You know. And then, you know, you get to television, and as somebody coming in who doesn't know jack shit about doing television, like I have to lean on people and ask questions and watch and learn and grow. And a lot of people, I think, are still just stuck in that indie mindset. And again, it's where I came from. There's nothing wrong with it. But if you're more happy with some goof saying that you had a 5-star match and the building's a quarter full, we're not in the same business.
Right. So speaking of that, when you came back in August of 2021, you said when you left Ring of Honor, you left pro wrestling in 2005, and now you were coming back to pro wrestling.
Yeah.
Obviously, the whole chunk in WWE you were kind of excluding.
Yeah.
Do you regret saying that?
I don't regret saying that. I think I was catering. I was probably maybe leaning a little bit too much towards that niche audience, you know, because they're like, yeah. You know, I was sold on AEW being very much an alternative to what WWE was. And, you know, like, that's the biggest shame to me is like, this is the last chance. Like, I like competitors. I like guys being able to be like, oh, well, I can go over here and make X amount of money. You know, that's good for the business. It's good for the boys, you know, but when you're there, you know, I like guaranteed money almost kind of ruined pro wrestling, you know, like if you had to get paid based off the house, the place would be drastically different.
Because it would drive you, it would push you.
You would think.
Yeah.
You would think, oh shit, this isn't working. It's live. Okay, so pivot, do something else. What is going to get people into the building? That's the short time I had where I was in charge of Collision. That's the way I did things. What did we draw here last time? Okay, my goal is to get one more ticket sold, and I did that. What were the ratings last time? Okay, we're gonna, you know, and you work incrementally.
Can I be honest with you? Anytime someone asks me about CM Punk, because we've done all those interviews back in the day, I always mention 3 things. The first one is, you let me into your house, you didn't know who the hell I was, multiple times.
Not a lot of people have been in my house.
Yeah, so, and that meant a lot. Not a lot of people invite me to their house. When you want to do an interview, they say, oh, you know, I'll come to you, we'll do it in a hotel room. Number 1. Number 2, I never forget this, Paul Heyman's daughter's bat mitzvah.
Yeah.
We were both at it. And there, I think you might have been the only active wrestler there. Brock wasn't there. I don't know why they weren't there, but I remember thinking that you were the only one in WWE at the time who was there.
Did I leave already? When was that?
No. It was, yes, you might have. It was 2015.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was long gone.
Okay,
yeah.
fair enough. I remember we left early, my wife and I, and you walked us to the elevator. And I was like, that's a mensch. Do you know what a mensch is?
Of course.
That's a mensch move right there. You didn't have to do that. You're freaking CM Punk. I thought that was really awesome. And number 3, during the pandemic, I remember just having like some good chats with you. Not on phone, but on text about like life and whatnot. We all had a lot of time on our hands. And so regarding number 3, I was blown away that you came back. Just based off some of the things that we had talked about and those chats before UFC and your feelings on the business. I was blown away that you came back to wrestling at all. I thought for sure you would never come back.
So was I.
For sure. Do you regret coming back? Do you think life would have been better if you just kind of just went and did something else? Because none of this stuff that we talked about.
There's too many things that I've done since coming back that have overshadowed whatever negative spin you want to put on anything. If I didn't come back, I wouldn't have met Brody King. I wouldn't be friends with him to this day. Danhausen, Dax, Cash, Darby, Sting. You know, I don't want to name everybody because I don't want people to be punished any further for being my friend. But there's so many people, you know, and I'm sure I helped somebody along the way. And to me, that's what it's about. Like, if you hate me, great. There's a lot of knowledge in here, right? I started doing this when I was 15 years old. I got to study under Paul Heyman, Danny Davis, for all his faults, Vince McMahon. I got to watch main eventers move. I got to watch all this stuff. Sometimes I'm wrong, but I know a thing or two. And I never projected that or forced that on anybody. There's that thing about like, oh, you know, he would run around and give unsolicited advice. Never. My time is valuable. I'm not running around trying to help people if they don't want the help, you know. But I was always a guy that run around and ask me. Like, I still, to this day, do I regret coming back? No. You know why? Because I get to ask questions to people who have been in it longer than me. Hey, Shawn Michaels, what do you know, XYZ? Hey, Triple H, what's your mindset on this? Why are you doing it this way instead of this way? Oh, we thought about, you know, like, and obviously my body is not going to last longer than my brain. So I have way more to give to professional wrestling. So do I regret coming back? No, 100% not, no.
Did you consider going to WWE before going to AEW in 2020? Were there ever any talks? I know you were on Backstage that show.
Yeah.
Did it ever get close?
Yeah.
It did?
Yeah.
How close? Pretty darn close?
Like, yeah. Like, okay, this is done. I mean, even before Backstage.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, see, I thought Backstage was going to be like a backdoor way to get me in. And I told everybody from Fox, I was just like, look, I want to work for you guys. This sounds like fun. But if it's any way tied to, you know, trying to get me back, like, we're not going to have the greatest, you know, business relationship, you know? Because at that time, I had a handshake thing and things were in place and then it didn't happen. So I was just like, okay, well, so I'll do this, but not that. And they're like, no, we're hiring you to be an analyst. We bought the TV rights for SmackDown, so you're going to be talking about, it's no different than, you know, Brett Favre doing football or whoever, you know.
Tom Brady, et cetera. So is that 2019? Like this before the pandemic, right?
Yeah, yeah.
What was the plan for you to come back? And who was,
it didn't
even get to that.
It didn't get.
Who was leading the charge?
I think it was Nick Khan. I think Nick's.
He wasn't even there yet.
I think, yeah, but
yeah,
I'm with CAA, so
sure.
I think since the day I stepped out, I think Nick has been trying to drive me to come back in.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you were with CAA. Yeah. He joins in August of 2020, but obviously it's in his best interest, and the story is that he helped sell those rights to Fox, right? Yeah. The SmackDown rights. So he's obviously very involved. He meets Triple H, he meets Vince, he meets Stephanie, etc. So even dating back then.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think if Nick Khan isn't the CEO of WWE now, do you think you're back?
Probably not.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. He was the difference maker.
I think so. Just in regards to just, hey, having a conversation, you know, which is something that I was never adverse to, you know. Talking to Triple H, sure. You know, like I text him again, this is all water under the bridge, but like I remember texting him and being like, hey man, I'm about to get married. Can I call you when I'm back from my honeymoon and we can talk? That was my attitude. And then obviously famously I got, you know, papers FedExed overnight, you know, and you know, like I think that was my biggest sticking point. It wasn't because I was upset about that. It was that you try. Your intent was fucking dirty. But again, like I said, we talked about all this.
You cleared this all up.
Water under the bridge.
How would you describe the state of your relationship now? Like, you know, the picture was great. Hell froze over, all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
How would you describe your working relationship?
I think I'm way more reserved than he wants me to be. I think I'm still kind of like, okay, I'm, you know, like I don't want to rock the boat and I'm not trying to do this and I, you know, but we've had some great conversations and, you know, I'm part of the team. So I'm doing what I can and I'm sure my responsibilities might grow in the future. I'm totally stoked doing what I'm doing.
Do you think you'll eventually move into a role, like a management role, a producer role? Right?
I don't know.
Is that something you want?
I don't know. A lot of people said that it's something that I would be good at. But you know, I don't know. I think regardless of what my triceps want to tell the world, I think I still have a lot to offer in ring. And maybe that's just the crazy, you know, athlete holding on too long in my head. But like, I look at it like I'm the same age Terry Funk was when he did Roadhouse. So, you know, I got some time.
Was there any part of you, and we're rounding third here again, I feel like this thing is like, I feel bad for you just having to fix that thing because it seems.
It's quite all right.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, great. We have another 3 hours. It's fantastic.
It's fine. Maybe by the third hour, people would be less upset about what I said in hour number one.
I don't think you said anything that would make people that upset, if I'm being honest.
It is what it is. Like, I understand it being, you know, this delicate situation, but like, I'll say it again, because obviously the headlines from, you know, lousy reporters is going to be like, oh, he said this and he said that. I wish them all well. I legitimately do. And honestly, some people might think the most offensive thing that I could possibly say is, we're just not in the same business. We're not. And I think maybe if I looked at it that way at the time, I maybe would have handled things differently. But I'm a dude who, I wear my heart on my sleeve. You know what I mean? And I wasn't just hired to be a wrestler. I very much had 2 contracts. I was, you know, consultant to Tony or whatever the hell it was. So if you're going to tell me that, oh, you can't even tell other wrestlers to do what, okay, great. But it's kind of the problem is, like, you know, we give away too much. So there's that small niche audience that is more consumed about what's going on in my life and what's going on with theirs, and like this backstage stuff and all that stuff. I'm just glad to be out. They obviously didn't want me there.
Do you believe that?
Yeah, 100%.
When you say they, do you mean like certain, like the elite, those guys?
Yeah.
I can't imagine Tony didn't want you there.
Yeah, I don't know, I'm sure Tony probably still wishes I was there.
Right.
You know?
Do you mean like certain guys in the back?
Yeah.
But that's like 4 or 5 guys.
Right.
There's a much bigger locker room. Yeah. I would venture to say that if we polled everyone, most would want you there. No?
Again, I don't want to get anybody in trouble.
Sure.
But yeah, like, again, that whole, oh, the entire locker room hates him and like all that stuff. Like, get the fuck out of here with that. That's projection to like the nth degree. That's, oh, how are we going to try to hurt somebody's feelings? Oh, everybody hates you. Like, that's fucking high school shit, man. You know? Okay, everybody hates me. Well, now I come over here and everyone's like, oh shit, everybody hates him. What's going to happen? Well, I guess we're going to tune into Monday Night Raw to see.
Right. Did you feel like they never wanted you there from the jump?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, like, what made you feel that way?
Just interactions, just the way, you know, like, just the way things are handled. Like, you know.
Conversely, when you came back to WWE, were you nervous about any particular relationship, interaction, but now have been pleasantly surprised that it's all good?
I was excited.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just like thinking like, man, I wonder what it's going to... The reason I asked this is, just today, great clip came out, you and Randy Orton, right? Heartwarming stuff. Let's go lead the locker room.
The watch along?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Let's go lead the locker room.
No, it's cool.
People mad.
Yeah, no, I thought it was great for longtime fans to see you guys like that. And so I'm not this is why I'm thinking of it, but was there, man, you know, I maybe said some stuff, or I heard he felt this way or whatever, and then you needed to patch it up?
So when I left, I very much did stop talking to a lot of people because I was immediately like embroiled in this like lawsuit.
Right.
Right? I mean, and I look at it now, I'm just like, it fed into like the tribalism where it was just very much just like them versus me, right? And right or wrong, like that's how I survived. That I had to draw a line somewhere, you know, and there were people that I didn't talk to, you know, because I couldn't trust if I said something, it wasn't going back to them, you know, people who were suing me. Mm-hmm. So it's just a shit situation that I wouldn't wish on, you know, anybody.
How do you move on from that though? Because again, like all those conversations that we had in the past, like you talk about getting served on your wedding day, you talk about things being said, you talk about the lawsuit, you talk about the week of your second UFC fight, you're in court, right? Sweating it out. You seem at peace right now, and I don't think that you're faking this. How do you let go of that?
I woke up this morning. This is what I tell people all the time. How are you doing? I woke up this morning. You know, you get one shot at all this. And I see so much hate out there based on, you know, the color of somebody's skin or religion or, you know, all this stuff. And I'm just like, man, we're all here for like such a short time. And maybe that's just because I'm not a religious guy. I'm an atheist, and I don't believe that there's anything to look forward to. I believe this is it, you know? So if I woke up today, cool. Everything else was gravy.
You didn't always have that mindset, right?
I don't think so.
You held on to some things.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
So how did you evolve? Is it just life? Is it just getting older? Is it just putting things in perspective?
I think so. You know, I think a lot of how I handled things was a trauma response from not getting what I needed when I was a kid. You know, I mean, broken home, no money. Like, how do I better my life? And the people who were supposed to take care of me never did. So, like I said, respect is the default. I'll walk in the room and I'll respect you. The instant you piss on my shoes, okay. And some people are like, oh, that's crazy. How are you gonna hold that grudge? Well, what the fuck are you pissing on my shoes for? What's the point of that? You know? And it's weird too, because, you know, when I'm on television, I'm not an astronaut. You know what I mean? I'm not the King of England. I'm CM Punk. What the fuck does that mean? I'm straight edge. So there's so many elements of who I am on TV. And again, it's a double-edged sword. I get to blur that line. Oh shit. What's he doing? Is that, oh, he's real. Oh, so many people are going to be mad. Oh, he just did this. He just did that. But then that translates over, and there's people who hate me because I beat Jeff Hardy and he had to leave the WWE. Like, I've been such a good bad guy in my career that they think that shit carries over into real life. So when they hear stories of, oh, he's super violent backstage. Of course he is. He's sang happy birthday to Aaliyah Mysterio onto, like, they conflate the thing. And that's the problem, again, with social media and parasocial relationships and all that other stuff. I'm just a dude sitting over here, like, trying to have the time of my life. That's it.
Do you think the hatchet could ever be buried with Colt Cabana?
Probably not.
Has it ever been attempted on his side or your side?
No, he came up to me one time at a show and was like, I was at the curtain watching the show, and he came up to me and he was like...
Is this post-scrum or pre-scrum?
No, it was pre.
Okay.
And he was like, hey, can we talk so it's not weird between us? And I just said, I won't ever talk to you without a lawyer present. And that was it.
Feeling same.
What's that?
The feeling is still the same.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it caused all this dumb shit.
Right.
For no reason. Oh, I got the guy fired. He hasn't been on TV since whenever. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Like, I applaud, and I said this to Hangman. I was like, man, I get taking up for your friends. I get it. That's commendable. I do that all the time. Right or wrong, I'll stand up for my fucking friends. But you fucking go on national television and jeopardize $1 million house that you ain't never drawn before. Now you're disrespecting me, and you're disrespecting the business. This is my house. I drew that, not you. And that's egos, is what it is.
What if you saw Tony? What do you think of that?
Hey, Tony, how's things?
Will your wife ever return to TV?
Probably not.
Is that her? I'm sure there's a open door, right?
I think there is, yeah. Selfishly, I would love it, but I'm her biggest fan, so I love everything she does.
So what is it? Can I ask? What is? Obviously, it's a question for her, but I think a lot of people would love that, right? You gave her a shout out, maybe in your first promo back.
I think I've talked about her a lot.
Yeah. So some people, going back to the little clues, think that you're foreshadowing something.
Maybe I am.
Okay,
I don't know. Again, there's that line.
Yeah, I got you.
I know how to do things.
Is she doing well?
I mean, think about the pipe bomb. All those guys I mentioned.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, we're on TV like within weeks. Heyman, Laurinaitis. Laurinaitis became an on-screen too. I am the giver of all things.
You even talk in that pipe bomb in Las Vegas about, we talk about this anti-bullying campaign, and then all this stuff comes out. Like when the stuff came out about Vince, people were referencing that.
Yeah.
So it still holds up 13 years later.
It's wild. It's wild.
Okay, so your wife, TBD, as far as WrestleMania is concerned, you're doing commentary for just that one match, or is it for a portion of the card? TBD.
Yeah, it's definitely for that match, but I'm doing a whole bunch of other stuff too. I'm doing like a 2-hour kickoff both days.
Oh, wow.
I'm actually really excited to do that. I think I mentioned this in my promo on Monday where I was just like, you know, if you asked me to host a WrestleMania like 10 years ago, I probably would have been offended. Like, oh, that's beneath me. And now I look at it just like, man, this is great. I want to be in the mix, and I want to feel the energy from the crowd, and I want to be out there because honestly, I mean, I think if you're in this business, I do very much think you have to believe that like you're in the pole position. And I got to look at the landscape of professional wrestling and be like, okay, yeah, that guy's better than me. But who's better at everything? I think I can do all things, and I'm handy to have around.
Yes,
you know?
For sure. Do you think it will, if the cards, you know, end up falling this way, and I hope they don't genuinely, that you never headline a WrestleMania? Will that be a hole in your heart? Will that be a regret?
No.
No?
No.
There was once a time.
Well, again, I think making something so big of a deal like on TV carries over. And again, it's the people are always going to point out like your failures. They won't talk about your triumphs. People will be like, "Oh, you're old. Oh, you're this. Oh, you're that." And like, you know, like this gray hair.
Right.
Like I find it comic. Like it's people will be like, "Why don't you dye your beard? You look,
this is sick.
You look old." And I'm like, "Fuck you. I earned this shit. Like all these scars, like I earned this shit. I'm missing a fucking molar here. Why don't I fix that? Because I went to go get it fixed in the pandemic and the dentist was closed. I don't got time for this shit." Like all these, and they'll criticize all these things that I've done wrong. The way I look, the way I act, this, that. But they don't realize that all those faults make me who I am. That's who CM Punk is. I have to be doing something right. I have a sterling silver ticket from Tiffany's that Madison Square Garden gave me. It said, "Congratulations on your return. Thanks for selling out the building." All right, cool. I'll just keep being me, you know? So fucking gray beard, old, grizzled, like that's me. That's the phase I'm in right now. Like I think trying to, you know, change your appearance and like all that other stuff, I think lends to a little bit of insecurity and all that stuff. And I look at this as like a Vince thing. I would never be allowed on TV looking like this. This means he's gone. you know, like sometimes I look at it and I'm like, yeah, I don't look like 2007 CM Punk. And I go, good. Because I have all those years and I have all that experience and all those things. And like I said, all the what people think are negatives, I think are positives.
It was heartbreaking to hear about the as you know, a fan base, to hear about the injury. How did you get over that hump? Now clearly you are in a better place.
I am now. Was it
dark?
It was real bad. Bad. It was real bad.
Worse than the foot, worse than the other tricep.
Yeah.
Because this was everything was going so well, right?
I had something to look forward to. And again, you know, I looked at it, and the Monday after, I think an idea was pitched for me to do something completely different. And I was just like, please just let me go out there and talk. Please, you know. And I said it. I had it. It was right here. It was in my hand. I had it. And I got hurt. This is an occupational hazard. Nobody ever wants to get hurt. It never happens at a good time. But I think, once again, I've proved why I am who I am. I've turned chicken salad into chicken shit. I will continue to do so. Realistically, could you tell us when you think you'll compete again? I think at this point, it's more of like a business decision. Okay. Because not to spoil anything, like... no one's watching. This one is night and day from this one for a myriad of different reasons. And I'm recovering really, really well. So cautiously optimistic that it's going to be half the time as the left one. And like I said, I got something to come back to. When I did this one, I was just like, okay, nobody's talking to me. I guess I don't work here anymore. Like, right. All right, like whatever, cool. You know, but this time it's people checking on me, and it's people making appointments for me, and going to the best doctors and doing the best PT, and having a goal to come back to, I think mentally helps me a lot. So It's gonna be a business decision, you know. I know there's some big PLEs that they haven't even announced yet that are coming up over the summer. So just, you know, like, it kind of matters, and that's what one of the things I told Triple H when I came back. It's like, if I can be the difference maker on certain things, like, that's why I'm here. You know, they don't even do house shows anymore, really. You know, so the business has changed where I think you can save your body a little bit more and you can extend your career. Randy, me, I think AJ Styles. I think AJ's older than I am, you know? I don't see him slowing down anytime soon, you know?
The most poignant thing that I think you said was like that you're not upset about not being able to compete. Like you just are going to miss the environment. And this was just a few months after, you know, like in that video blog I'm referencing again, you were very sad and you said you really loved going to work again.
Yeah.
You really missed it. In a million years, did you ever think that you would find this happiness again?
No.
You never thought?
No. Because it's not like I was doom and gloom, like, oh, I wish you know, like, I never considered it. And I'm not saying I even enjoyed it back when I was in the thick of it, because I was just so possessed about, like, what am I doing on TV? You got to protect this character. What am I doing next? What's going on next year? Like, you know, like, I was just so consumed with it. And now I feel like I'm more, you know, instead of causing the wave, I feel like I'm more just kind of like riding the wave, you know, and I can enjoy that now, you know, and whereas before I couldn't, because it was ultra competitive.
This has been great. Is there anything we didn't talk about that you wanted to get off your chest?
No, I'm not going to watch this back.
Okay.
I'm sure there's going to be clips and all kinds of shit on the internet. But when it comes to, you know, like AEW and all that, I genuinely don't regret my time there. I'm just brutally honest about some things, and you ask questions, and you're a real journalist, so gleefully go ahead and answer it. And it's done. You know, I hope they're happy. I know I am. And I would like to kind of leave it at that. I understand fans and the tribalism, you know, because I'm a Blackhawks fan. I'm a Chicago Cubs fan. So I will always troll and needle White Sox fans or Blues fans or Predators fans, you know. But some of the shit was just so outlandish, talking about, you know, like my dog and all this awful stuff. Like, I just...
What did you say about your dog?
I think it might be covered in the NDA. I don't know.
Oh, damn. The dog, too. Oh, the dog was a part of the... Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he was there.
Golly, Larry had your back, though.
Boy, did he.
Always. How old is Larry now, by the way?
I don't know. We rescued Larry. It was every bit of 10 years ago. Or no, because... So I got a 10-year wedding anniversary coming up in June.
Wow.
Yeah.
Golly.
I know, it's awesome.
That is wild.
It's awesome.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Maybe the secret to the success of the marriage is not being in the business.
No, that's definitely not it, because she's super stoked for me. She sees how much fun I'm having. But yeah, that's definitely the greatest thing I've ever done in my life, was asking her to marry me. She said yes again, too, by the way. On the 10-year anniversary of me asking her to marry me, I asked her.
Did it again, just to make sure she was still into it?
Yeah.
Okay.
She said
When was
yes.
that?
She said yes.
That must have been recently.
Yeah, it was really recently.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
Incredible. You rocked the Patrick Waugh shirt. I felt like that was maybe a sign that you were coming on the show. I don't know. I took it as such. I know you're a longtime fan of his.
That's the depressing thing for me, is because I was on, like, Patrick Waugh speed run. Like, fuck you, I quit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You were,
You know what I mean? Goes to the abs, wins a cup.
I know.
That was me. I did that. I said, fuck, all right, fuck you, I quit. I'm out. Oh my God, you can't do that. Goes here, goes to WrestleMania, you know? And it's not this, like, the lane changes a little bit, but I'm still going to be there. I'm still going to be
Much to our chagrin, he never came back to the Canadians. You did come back.
Curse of St. Patrick is alive.
Yes.
A Canadian hockey team will never win the Stanley Cup again.
Because of that. Wow, it left him in goal.
Yeah.
I forget what it was like.
And now I have to be like, oh, do I have to root for the Islanders? It stinks.
It is weird.
Phil Kessel to the Maple Leafs also sucks. Love Phil Kessel. Love making fun of Maple Leafs fans. So
now
I'm distressed.
Yeah.
I'm distressed. So again, talking all those sports things, like I get it. there's people who are ride or die AEW, changed their lives, like, you know, brought their passion back to pro wrestling. I hear that all the time about me too. Oh, you brought me back. This great. They're the same people that bark like, oh, just everybody enjoy wrestling. Well, okay, then let's just call a truce. Like, it's just, you know, you go ahead and you believe I'm this big evil man and I do all these awful, horrible things that people have made up and reported. Just leave me the fuck alone.
Last one and most important one.
Yeah.
Now that WWE and UFC are under the same umbrella, third fight in the Octagon? What are we thinking? No?
I asked my wife the other day, because I said something, I was just like, yeah, what was I, like 35 when I fought? And she was just like, oh no, you were like 36 or 37. And I just went, what the fuck was I thinking?
I mean, it was valiant. And that walkout in Chicago was tremendous. The walkout in Cleveland was tremendous too.
I'm glad I did it.
Yeah. No regrets about that, right?
Zero regrets. I shouldn't have fought in Chicago because that, like, the worst 2 weeks of my life, like easily the worst 2 weeks of my life. Because
of the court case and all that.
I couldn't cut weight properly. Right. You know, I still made weight. Like, I'm proud of myself for that. But yeah, I'm an ambitious guy.
And that was 170, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, what are you right now?
Right now?
Yeah.
I'm every bit of 215 pounds.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, like your face was really...
Oh, I saw the interview. I was just like, ooh, yeah, gaunt. But my mind was, okay, I can fight at 170 because the dudes at 185 are like fucking beasts, you know? But I get it. Like, it's easy to LOL, make fun of me. You know what I mean? Like, and some people look at that and be like, oh, that's embarrassing. Like, I made the weight, I made the walk. I 100% proud of myself.
Yeah.
And I would do it again because, you know, that was me at my absolute worst, you know, and I did it. It is.
And went the distance too. Yeah. It wasn't like you tapped out in the first minute.
Yeah. I'm tenacious. I'm tough if I'm not, you know, anything. If you want to call me a loser, that's cool. But, you know, I was stoked I got that opportunity and I was stoked I did it.
Well, I would wish you good luck this weekend. But as I learned the first time we spoke, luck is, in fact, for losers.
Yes.
This was great, man. I really appreciate it. I know you could have probably talked to a million different people on a million different platforms. I'm still not quite sure why you came to us, but I really do appreciate it.
I don't do media anymore because I have a very contentious relationship. Like I have very negative towards a lot of people who have reported some bullshit about me, and I just think it's wildly irresponsible. You know, but at the end of the day, it's just like, okay, somebody on the internet who I don't know doesn't. Could you imagine hating my guts?
No.
And me not even knowing who the fuck you are?
Oh, that too. Like, I just thought the last part, period. But yes, of course.
Like, I get it. You know, I like me.
Well done. Welcome back. Speedy recovery. Knock 'em dead this weekend.
I will.
And again, thank you for this. Really, really appreciate it.
Thank
you. Coming up in a matter of seconds, by the way, the women's world champion, Rhea Ripley, in studio.
Oh, really?
Did you know this? You really don't look at social media, huh?
No.
Okay.
No, I have Instagram. And
good.
There's dogs on Instagram.
Yeah, that's all you need.
I'm good.
I just get kid stuff. Will you ever have a kid, by the way, or is that too?
I have Larry.
Okay, that's fine. Fair enough. Okay, that's how I know I've gone too far when I asked the kid question. He is CM Punk. This was incredible. Raw tonight, Barclays Center. I'm told highest gate ever for a TV show, right? In the history of WWE.
Yeah, we've been doing that. Last week in Chicago was I think the biggest gate in Chicago in like maybe the last 5 to 10 years. Like we've been setting records, and that's just not just me. I you know, because one thing I do want to say is,
please,
you know, because everybody was like based on lies and rumors. Oh, they're not gonna bring him back. You know, they don't need him. I don't think this place needs anybody, right? If you take out me, they're doing fine. If you take out Cody, they're doing fine. If you take out Roman, they're like, everything's just firing on all cylinders. And I think that's what makes the environment and the culture so great, is everyone's just moving forward to that one goal. And we're selling out, we're breaking records, and it's just great to be part of the team.
Yeah, no. It's great to watch as a fan, and I don't believe in that tribal. Like, the AEW fans don't like me, and I've been singing their praises. I was saying there was a time I thought it was a better product, really, when you and MJF were doing your thing, than WWE's product, and then it switched. I don't get all that wackiness. I'm too old for that shit. Just be a fan. And if you're a fan of pro wrestling dating back to that guy who got me into a fan, and you're watching this now, like when I see the Rock stuff, when I see the Cody stuff, when I see Gunther, when I see Drew doing his thing, when I see the women doing Becky and Rhea, like how could you not love this stuff? Bailey and Damage Control. It's like, this is great shit. So I look forward to taking my kids this weekend. They've never been to a Mania. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Awesome.
And I look forward to seeing what you do there as well.
Here. Like I hope.
Okay.
I
don't
want to eat up her time.
No.
She's great.
Thanks for watching. We appreciate it very much. Hey, if you like this video, give us the old thumbs up. Subscribe as well. You could get many more of these videos on the channel. So please do that. We would love you forever if you did so.